Hello and welcome to the 7-Figure Starting Point podcast. I am your host, Ashleigh Chanel, and I am so excited that you're here. I'm so excited for you to get access to all of the things that you need in order for you to get over your revenue plateaus, as well as just be able to build the business that you want to build in the way that you want to build it so that you can live the life that you want. So this episode is all about this podcast, why I created it, who it's for, what we're going to talk about, and just a little bit about me at the end. So I'm really excited, so let's get right to it. First thing I do want to say is what you can expect in the podcast episodes is that I'm going to get straight to the podcast episode. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of talking beforehand because it's annoying to me. So I feel like it might be annoying to other people. So I'm just going to get into the podcast episodes when you are listening to the other ones. Okay, so who is this podcast for? This podcast is for entrepreneurs, CEOs, and business owners who have 7-figure dreams, okay? This podcast is specifically for people who have 7-figure and beyond dreams. And the reason is because I'm going to be talking about big things. My guests have 7-figure companies, 8-figure companies, and 7 and 8-figure net worths. So the things that we talk about are going to make the most sense for people who have a vast vision and grand goals, is what I call them. Obviously, there is nothing wrong with not wanting to get to a 7-figure business, but for those of us who have 7-figure dreams and beyond, and who see the world changing because of what we do, and who know that we cannot make the impact that we want to make on this world with making $30,000 a month, with making $10,000, with making $50,000 a month. We know that our impact requires finances. It requires money. It requires dinero, okay? Number 2, this podcast is for those who have already hit $100,000 in revenue and beyond, and who have actually maintained that or more as the years have gone on, but for some reason cannot get over that $250,000 revenue plateau, okay? And the reason why it is for those specific people is because you are used to investing in your business, okay? You are used to stretching yourself. You understand that you have to invest in your business, that you have to invest in yourself. You understand mindset. You understand changing your mindset. You understand there are things that are going to be hard. You understand that you have to invest in potentially advertising of some sort. You understand that in order to get over the revenue hump, it's more than just revenue, but you're not actually sure what it is right now. And that's what this podcast is for. That's why I'm bringing on the guests that I have. And that's why what I'm going to be talking about is marketing specific with other business things sprinkled in. But those are going to be solo episodes, and I'll get into how the format of this podcast is going to be in just a second. But it's so important because the things that myself and my guests are going to be talking about only apply to people who have done the work in their business already. You've made money, you're making money. Maybe your profits aren't where they need to be, which makes a lot of sense for that revenue bracket. You understand outsourcing. You understand that you need a team to build, but you may have overhired at one point, which means most of the revenue that you brought in went right back out because you were like, oh my goodness, I know I need to outsource. I know I need to invest, et cetera, et cetera. But there are ways to do that so that you're not basically at 0% profit, 0 to 30% profit. So that's going to be really important. We're going to be talking about paying yourself, like all of the different aspects of business that no one really ever talks about, because there's a business piece and then there is the human side of business. And those two pieces need to be so aligned so that you can build the business that you want to build. And no one ever talks about it. Like, this is another reason why I started this podcast. There are a lot of mouthpieces out there who talk a good game, but they don't really know anything about business. And that is a problem. And I'm sure that you had a coach or two. They may have helped, they may not have, but also they probably didn't know much about business. A lot of coaches, a lot of people talk about marketing aspects, and it's only one marketing avenue. I've been a marketer for over 15 years, and whether it's small businesses or enterprise clients, my medium-sized clients, marketing is the same. The fundamentals are the same, and the fundamentals of business are the same, but it depends on your business model. It depends on what type of business you actually want to build. So it's important that you get information from people who have been doing it for a very long time. And that brings me into why I really started this podcast. I believe that when women are paid, the world changes. And I am here to erect a generation of women who unapologetically step into their power, because we always get the message that we're second, that women are second, but we're not. We're powerful. We are what makes the world move. Without us, there would be no one, right? So I think it's so important that we realize what our power is and move forward in that. in order for us to make the impacts that we want to make, we cannot be timid. We cannot question ourselves. We do need to move forward in LOL, the force and fierceness of a mediocre white man. And I'm so excited for us to do so. Like, you are so amazing. I am so amazing. And we need to stop questioning that. And then the other thing about why I started this podcast is because you may have heard the statistic, only 12% of businesses make $100,000 or more. And that means 88% of businesses do not. Sometimes I don't think that people realize how significant that is. Out of all the businesses started, only 12% have made it as far as you have made it. That is significant. And I think because we are around people in our spaces, whether it's online or not, we see other people making that, and we see people making more, hitting 7 figures, 8, 9, etc. So we may not think that that's a big deal because it's like, well, I have more to do. But it's so significant because 12%. And the next step is only 6.5% of women-owned businesses make more than $250,000 a year. Like, what the heck, right? So to me, there is something that happens between the 100 and 250,000 mark that is not said, it's not taught, and people don't know. And so there's some type of struggle or something happening between 100 and 250,000. And what happens after that is, I think it's about 4.2% of those businesses make it to 7 figures or more. So that means that there's only about a 2% drop off, which means that once you make it over the hump, I am assuming that it is easier to get to $1 million once you make it past 250,000. So clearly there's something between the 100 and 250,000 that people are not doing because they don't know, they're not being led, or people are not talking about it. So I'm here to bring all of my guests on this show, the conversations that I will have with you in my solo episodes. They are here to make sure that whatever you don't know, whatever access you don't have, you will have by the end of listening to the episode. I'm so passionate about that because we have things to do. We have the world to change. We have communities to change. So many things happen when we're paid. And because of that, I take this extremely seriously, and I'm so excited and so blessed to have you here. Now on to the structure of this podcast and my guests. So first, I'm going to talk about my guests. I love my guests. My guests are so cool. I'm so excited to talk to them. I was very, very intentional about who I allowed on this podcast because I needed to make sure that you could get everything that you needed from them. I needed to make sure that I respected them. I needed to make sure that they knew what the heck they were talking about, that not just anybody can come on this podcast. And I'm not saying that as in this is exclusive. I'm saying that to protect anyone and everyone who is listening, because those who have made it to 7 figures understand what's missing between where you are now and where you want to go. Not every single guest has hit 7 figures, but they have hit multi-6. They have done something that intrigued me and I felt like was necessary for people to know. Most of my guests have been in their industries for 10 to 20 years. That was important as well, because that means that they have, if not multiple businesses, which most of them do, they've also been in multiple industries. The most important piece to me was that they had been in business for a long time. Most of my guests have been in business for 10 years. The reason why that is important is because I needed to make sure that my guests had a well-rounded view of business, that they had been through different eras, and that you received well-rounded advice and actionable advice and real stories, strategies, and tactics, not stuff that's just trendy. Because though trends are helpful and they're fun during the time, what's extremely important to me and what I give you access to are the fundamentals of business and the fundamentals of marketing. Because we do not have time for you to build your business off of trends, which are some of the things that you've probably done, right? Because we know that especially in the online space, we had PDFs as the lead magnets at one point, and then we had webinars, which was going on for a long time, and challenges and quizzes, and people were doing VSLs. And so sometimes it makes you think that you need to do the next best thing. But what I want to make sure that happens when you listen to this podcast and my guests is that you begin to understand what's right for you, when it's right for you, and if and when you need to change something up, right? Because I truly believe that in order to get over this $250,000 revenue plateau, a lot of it has more to do with focus and you. One of my mentors, who you will see on this podcast and who has a multi-7-figure business. What she says is that business is about 90% mindset and 10% the business and the strategy stuff. And so what I think happens within this revenue plateau is that we're holding ourselves back a little bit, or a lot of it. But yeah, okay, so those are my guests. The structure of the podcast, there will be guest episodes. There will be solo episodes where I talk to you a lot about marketing. I will also have little ranty episodes. They will be short, so you don't have to listen to me rant, but they're just probably things that I've seen out in the world or on social media that get on my nerves, and I want to share them. In this podcast, we are going to talk about all the marketing things. We are going to talk about business in different perspectives with my guest. And we are going to talk about ads. The main reason I have ads in here is because I don't like to work harder than I have to achieve the same result. I am here to encourage you and teach you and talk to you about ads, how you can use them. There will be different series as well. There will be a summer series. There will be a series on using ads for quizzes. I will have sponsors, and in my show notes and on the blog, on the website, there will be affiliate links. And with the ads, I'll have another segment called Ads Chat. And that is a fun segment because I'm interviewing people who are regular business owners who started using ads and their business began to soar. And the reason I did that is because I know ads can feel very hard, daunting, like you're going to be spending a ridiculous amount of money, but it doesn't have to be the case. But I wanted you to hear from people that I have not worked with. I have not run ads for the people in the Ads Chat segment. They started running their own ads, and I just wanted you to know that what is possible, that it is possible, and that it can absolutely change your business. So I will be talking about ads because, again, I do not like to work harder than I have to. And let's move into a little bit about me because, like, I'm sure you want to know who the heck you're going to be listening to. I have been a marketer for over 15 years. I went to the University of Houston for undergrad. I was a double major and double minor because I am your textbook overachiever, okay? But I love learning. I loved school and it was fun for me. I was in specialty programs. My double major was in marketing and entrepreneurship. I was in the #1 entrepreneurship program in America. My double minor was in sales and global business. And I was in the #1 sales program in the country where I got to meet with the executives and CEOs of companies like Bank of America and Edward Jones, State Farm. It was really, really exciting. And it allowed me to understand not only the sales portion, how it related to marketing, but also how in entrepreneurship, how business actually works, right? How the parts work with the different parts, as well as how the parts work with the whole of the business, meaning the different departments. So like marketing, finance, sales, et cetera, et cetera. So that, I believe, set me up for such success. And I'm very, very happy I did it. I also have an MBA and my concentrations were global marketing, global finance, where I was also in specialty programs because, again, your girl is an overachiever, okay? I cannot help myself. So I was able to move to New York briefly and work with consulting companies and do management consulting for them. And it was such an amazing experience because these were like the big six, right, in the accounting firm, and then also working with medium-sized businesses as well. It was such an amazing experience because I got to see how things worked in different industries. And I also got my MBA in Italy, and that was probably the best experience of my life. Italy is my home. Though I am American, I was born and raised here, born in LA, grew up in Texas, though I am not a Texan, okay? I want to be clear about that. I consider myself a citizen of the world. I am okay if you roll your eyes at that. It's fine. But Italy has my heart. So Italy is my home. I lived in Rome for about 2 years. I don't speak fluent Italian. However, I speak enough Italian to get around. I quit my job in 2017, 2018, and I started my business because I was tired of the gray walls. Fun things. I've been to 36 countries so far in my business, which, oh, by the way, my business is called Make Your Mark. It is a marketing agency. That's so funny. I forgot to say that. And my mission is to make sure that women are paid so that you can live how you want, when you want, and as much as you want, because America does a bad job of letting women know how important they are. But yeah, The experiences that I've had just showed me that life does not have to look the way that society says it has to look. And whatever you want for you is what I want for you. And that's another reason why I started this podcast, so that you can see how other people are doing things and give that gift to yourself as well, of setting up things exactly how you want them set up and living the life that you want. Because I don't believe that you have to live life with restrictions. So yes, okay. I am a girl's girl. I love women. I think women are the most amazing beings on this planet. And I think every woman needs to remember that. What you may have heard in the intro is when I say your metaphorical yacht awaits. I say that because my goal is to be on a yacht in the Mediterranean with my cheeks out. And I'm not talking about these cheeks, okay? Even though these are cute. So whatever your yacht is why I call it your metaphorical yacht. So whatever your goal is, and I'd love for you to share it. Send me a DM. I'm super friendly on Instagram. Well, I'm friendly in general, but send me a message on Instagram and tell me what your metaphorical yacht is, because it might also give me ideas on questions I can ask my guests and episodes that I can create. I think that's it. I was talking about myself for quite a long time, but I just wanted you to know who I was, to know the, human, not business side of me. So I'm so happy you're here. I know that you have 7-figure dreams or beyond because you will continue to listen to this podcast. I really can't wait to see where this podcast goes. I can't wait to see where you go, and I can't wait to see where our businesses go. I hope you have the best day, the best evening, and I hope you have the best week. Best and bougiest. Ciao.